up, everybody? It's your girl Mika, and you're watching the Red Cup Podcast, where truth, pop culture, and politics meet. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Mika, and we're back for another Red Cup Talks, because y'all know when we have the Red Cup, we're about to spill some truth. And today is our Wild Wednesday live streams. And you know, I love to bring my girl Kelly on. What's up, Kelly?
Hey, girl. How you doing?
Good. I love the background.
Thank you.
Oh, happy Wednesday, happy hump day, or whatever y'all want to call it. How was your day going already? You ready for the holidays?
It's going good. So I have a small family. It's just gonna be me and my parents tomorrow for Thanksgiving. And what else do we have to? Oh, I told her I would pick up dessert, so I got to go to the store, pick up a cake or something. But it's going pretty good. I slept in because I'm off this week, so I slept in. I got up super late. Was up late watching TV really late. But it's going good.
Lucky you. I didn't get to sleep in.
What you had in your cup? You always
I be doing everything from 5 a.m. So I didn't get to sleep in, but it's all good. So I want to get into it today because it is a lot going on, and it was no way that I was gonna do all those videos. I wouldn't have been able to get to them all. So here we go. I want to do some updates. I want to do some topics, but I want to get into the funniest stuff that I saw this week and preferably last night. All right. So we're going to get into the holiday stuff first with our favorite girl, Joy Reid.
People are rightfully alarmed. They have a reason to be alarmed. And if you would vote for that, people may not feel so confident that they're safe with you. This is not crazy. This is legitimate feelings of fear of you and a feeling that you might not be someone they could trust. If this thing goes way south, autocracies go south real fast and things get ugly and people get asked to do things and turn people in and point people out and turn on them. And if you're voting affirmatively, gleefully for this, and people might, may not feel so confident in you anymore. That's real, and you kind of have to live with it. So if you think that you can vote for what people see as their destruction and then demand that they still are cool with you and kiki with you and have Thanksgiving with you, I think you're kind of missing the point of what people are upset about. They're afraid. And autocracy and fascism are things that are legitimate to be afraid of. So you may want to step back.
I saw that and I was like, oh my God.
She's a horrible person. There, I said it. She's a horrible person. That's like.
I like it.
You ready for me to talk? Because I'll talk. If you have comments,
go ahead. Say what you got to say about it. It's all good.
Okay. So for me, I think some things I just would not say on camera, and I would not say if I had a massive audience. Even with my small audience, some things I just would not say. I think it's really evil to encourage people to, because that was the way I'm taking it. She was encouraging people not to spend time with family that did not agree politically. Okay. So I think that's next level evil. I really do. Now, personally, I am 100% okay with anyone cutting me off because I voted for Trump. The way I look at it, good riddance. I really don't care. Now, if my family, no, I'm speaking about friends or whatever, like people that elect to be in my life. My family, I would feel a way about it because you're my mom, you're my dad, I would feel a way about it, but I would respect it because I'm like, that person is they've been so brainwashed, they've been so indoctrinated. It's like when people join a cult, they cut the family off. So I would have to accept it and I would pray on it. But to actually come online and to tell people that it's something wrong with them because they voted this way. First of all, people vote the way they vote for a multitude of reasons. Me personally, I don't care what it is. I will never support a party that encourages abortion. I'm just really pro-life. So I don't like it, when it comes to certain things that are in the Bible, I can't, no matter what they're offering, I can't vote for my people to be annihilated. I cannot vote for children to be, transition. Like I just as a Christian, something I just hard no for me. So with that being said, I'm willing to stand on that. So if people like, hey man, I don't like Trump because blah 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 blah, fine, do what you gotta do. I had to go the way I had to go. But to encourage people to not spend the holidays with their family, because I did see not that clip, but there was another clip where it was her and a therapist, where the therapist was
that was on her show. So on her show, she talked about not spending the holidays with your families because of all this nonsense. And I'm just like, girl, okay, first of all, you're telling people that, for their sanity, they should not spend like it's not that serious. All right. Like
that's what I'm saying.
you're not gonna, you're not gonna die if you don't get an abortion. Okay. Or you're not gonna, I just thought it was crazy. Like, okay, you can have a difference of opinions and you can have a difference in politics, but she's that far, 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 far left. And I don't think most people are that far. Okay, because she's encouraging all types of division. She's encouraging, basically, Trump derangement on 100.
Yeah.
Because everybody in the media has Trump derangement, but Joy has it on 1,000.
And like chat says, she's encouraging division. Like that's evil to me. Like I don't like that. I have strong feelings about that woman in general. But yeah.
Yeah, I just I don't like it. But yeah, I thought it was so funny when I saw it. So being that, it will be Thanksgiving tomorrow, I thought that would be great to add in, into our little Trump derangement sections here. But with what happened last night, before we get into Kamala, I want to show you something I saw on social media, and then we're going to get into, our topics. But here we go.
Ever let anybody take your power from you? You have the same power that you did before November 5th. And you have the same purpose that you did.
Oh my God. Hold on. I'm going to play it one more time.
Ever let anybody take your power from you? You have the same power that you did before November 5th.
Yeah, when I saw that, I'm telling you right now, I screamed. And it was like early in the morning, when you're laying down and you're looking at your phone. I screamed. Okay.
No, that was funny. I didn't see that one.
They put the Hennessy in there. I said, that's what she gets.
It was on X, wasn't it? You saw it on X?
Oh, no, I saw it on not Facebook, Instagram.
Okay. Because
I saw it on Instagram. X do, they do have a lot of good memes, but I saw that on Instagram. I screamed.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I screamed because, we'll get into it, but that's what it gave. That's literally what it gave. It was just, she was just incoherent, but we're about to get into it. But I want to read the super chat really quick. Thank you, J Dubs. And it says, Joy Reid is a terrible individual, which she is, like really terrible. She's still out here fear-mongering for no reason, bald-headed reasoning. Between her and Angela Rye, the crash out is reaching new levels. Yes, it is. Like Angela Rye had another one. I just didn't feel like being, annoyed with it, but she had another one where she was just crashing out. I said, I can't do it. I can't do it.
I really think they should get some type of help. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, I'm not one of them people that was like, oh, you need to get therapy. I think the way, because I saw your show with Angela Rye crashing out, I like, if you're taking it that hard, and you guys are rich, like they're rich people. So I'm like, you shouldn't be taking it this hard. Like you may need to get some type of some counseling.
Yeah, they just thought they were going to have. They thought they were going to have, superiority. They thought they were going to be in the White House. So, that's pretty much what that is. They
Yeah.
thought they were going to have everything and they don't. So, I'll say this. At the end of the day, Kamala is probably she's probably going to be able to make a comeback. But if these people vote for her, I'm telling you, she's going to lose again. She's going to lose again. What you think?
I don't think she should have a comeback. I'm not like, I'm old school. I remember the days when you lost an election, that was it for you. That was it. You went back to being a senator. If you was lucky, that was it. So I don't understand, like, and people may say, well, Trump lost, blah, blah, blah. Look, Trump had a really big following, and Trump came back and he actually won his primary. He got the nomination. With this, remember, this lady, she didn't win a primary. So I feel like she need to go back to being a senator, because I think she was a senator.
I don't know. She can go back to California.
Go back to
Molly.
I would be shocked, Mika. I would be shocked if she even was a front runner for running for governor of California. I'm not trying to be like, and she lost by a lot. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to pick on the lady. She really lost by a lot. And you had $1.5 billion. You had all the resources, and you lost by a lot. So I think I can't imagine her having a comeback. I truly cannot. But
well, we'll see. But we're going to get into it in a second. Yeah. But before we get into everything, I wanted to get into some updates really quick. All right. So you guys know that I was really like, I'm so in tune to the border situation, but one in particular because of the children. And I told you I was going to stay on that little girl. I don't care what I got to search, who I got to call. I was going to stay on it. And I have an update on the little 2-year-old. So here's the update. Okay. Let's get into this.
Who was your daughter alone at the border?
I found a coyote and I paid for them to bring her to me. She came alone. It was just the coyote. The last time I talked to my daughter was Saturday.
A 4-year-old girl from Honduras making her way alone across the southern border. Authorities in Maverick County, Texas, raising the alarm on situations like this amid an uptick of unaccompanied minors crossing at the southern border. Authorities there encountered 100 children since Sunday, including that 4-year-old. She is one of nearly 300,000 minors who have been smuggled over the border without their families. News Nation's Jorge Ventura joins us with this exclusive interview talking to the toddler's mother. Why did she send her in the first place, and how did you find her?
Well, Marty, it was a truly heartbreaking scene, as you can see, when Texas DPS made that encounter with her. And that story really touched millions of Americans. Now, the little girl did have a note with her when she was encountered by Texas DPS with a phone number and a name. I was able to make contact with a woman who claims to be her mother, who is already in the United States. She tells me about the dangerous journey and risk that she put her own daughter through by placing her in the hands of criminal smugglers in Honduras and in Mexico.
Venezuela, mama. Venezuela? See?
A little girl, just 4 years old, smuggled across the border all alone, carrying nothing but a scrap of paper with a phone number and the name Mama Patty.
¿No vienes con tu mamá y tu papá? ¿No? ¿Venezuela? ¿Para dónde vas, mamá? ¿Dónde están?
The little girl claims her parents are already in the United States. We decided to call Mama Patty and find out why her mother left their toddler alone in the hands of human smugglers in Mexico. Patty was very emotional when I asked about her daughter. She tells me that U.S. Border Patrol officials notified her that they have her daughter in custody.
Why was your daughter alone at the border?
I found a coyote and I paid for them to bring her to me. She came alone. It was just the coyote. The last time I talked to my daughter was Saturday, and I haven't heard anything since. They told me that the coyote had already handed her over to another coyote, but I don't know anything else about her.
And ma'am, how much did you pay for her?
Well, normally they charge $4,500 from Honduras.
Patty admits to me over the phone that she paid human smugglers in Honduras and Mexico to smuggle her 4-year-old daughter into the United States. Patty says she was unfamiliar with the smugglers who were responsible for her daughter and that they stopped answering her calls the closer her daughter was to the U.S. border. Did you know the coyotes or not?
No, I don't know anything about them. I had one of their numbers, but they're not answering me. They told me they were done with their job, delivering my daughter to immigration.
Patty says she's very happy to hear the news that her daughter is now in the United States and is waiting for federal officials to release her daughter to her in South Carolina. But these scenes of young children traveling alone on the border are becoming the new normal.
All she had was a little piece of paper with a first name and a phone number.
Child, I'm telling you right now, okay? One, I don't believe that, mama. Okay? Why did you get here, but your daughter didn't get here? Like, how did you get here first?
I don't know.
So this makes me mad because had this been an American, like for lesser things, you're going to jail. I mean, Kamala was sending everybody to jail just because, if you was sick and you missed 3 days of school, you went to jail.
Yep.
What's her name? Cherie Peoples. She went to jail, and her daughter actually has a debilitating disease.
They sent the lady to jail for prison for 3 years for praying outside an abortion clinic. So yeah, I'm with you.
Yes, and took her away from her child, and didn't mind ripping her away from her child. That was Kamala. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's like it's starting to irritate me because there are a different set of rules, and not only do the people coming over know it, the coyotes know it, the sex traffickers know it. Because let's say she is telling the truth, right? Okay, so you allowed this to happen, and your daughter could have easily. She said that they stopped answering her phone calls. Your daughter could have been easily trafficked.
Yes. Yeah.
Your daughter could have been dead, and the coyote was just like, okay, well.
I don't put nothing past that lady. I'm not convinced she didn't sell her daughter. Like, I'm going to say it. That's insane to me. But I will say it makes sense that she was 4, because before I think they were saying she was 2, and we both was like, yo, she's pretty together for a 2-year-old. But
even for a 4-year-old, she spoke very clear.
Yes, and for a 4-year-old, that's still a toddler. That's still a baby. So
that is a baby. That's a baby. It's a baby. She's in pre-K at the most. So, I agree, ABJ. I definitely think she sold that little girl. Okay. And the little girl, just happened to stand out because she was the youngest amongst all of those people. Like, yep, she did. I agree. So I just wanted to give that update because I'm telling you, I'm staying on those people's necks. Like, I don't like everything that's going on. And then we'll talk about it in a little bit. But not the governor, the president of Mexico is just sassy. Like, she's getting sassy, and I'm just like, girl, pump your brakes, because at the end of the day, you are not helping any of these situations. All right. And you're Latino and you know what goes on. You're in crime-ridden Mexico. You understand what's going on, So, that pretty much pissed me off. But anywho, I just want to give that update. So let's get into Kamala and see what she's up to. So I want to bring this up on the screen because it has been, let me see, 4:25. It has been a night. I watched a little bit of this last night, but I wanted to save most of it because I really wanted to look at it. But we're going to start here. I'm going to bring her up on the screen.
Okay.
All right. Child, I know intoxicated junkie when I see her on. All right. So if you don't know, Kamala decided to get online last night and talk to her supporters. I guess they were. And the supporters are supposedly, wanting to hear from her and all this other stuff. But I really think she did this because people wanted answers. All right. People want answers on why you lost, why you told them you weren't going to lose. And they really wanted answers just about the campaign overall. This didn't answer anything to me, but at least I guess she tried. They said she's still in Hawaii, which would explain this because she didn't had a couple Mai Tais or whatever.
She's
So
Hawaii. See, I thought she was back from vacation. Okay.
oh no, she was in Hawaii. But I'm gonna go ahead and play this and then we'll talk about it. Here we go.
On this call, I am so grateful for you. And I'm so thankful to you. I'm thankful for your love of our country and your willingness to put the work into it. I'm thankful for the faith that you put in me and Governor Walz and our team. And I am thankful because I know your character is such that you're not going to get knocked down. And you're in this fight. And you're in it for all the right reasons. And I know that about you. It's why you're part of this call right now and all the work that you did over those 107 days and even before. That's your nature. And the outcome of this election obviously is not what we wanted. It is not what we worked so hard for. But I am proud of the race we ran. And your role in this was critical. What we did in 107 days was unprecedented. Think about the coalition that we built, and we were so intentional about that. You would hear me talk about it all the time. Being a daughter of parents who are active in the civil rights movement, I know and believe that the best movements that are about progress in our country mean that it's leaders that we are dedicated to the coalition, to bringing people together that seemingly have nothing in common, but have everything in common. A coalition where we bring people together based on a deep love of our country and our understanding that the strength of our country will be a function of our willingness to put in the work, and that we will do that work with a sense of joy, yes, with a sense of work ethic and understanding it's going to be hard, but it's good work. It's good work.
I'm sorry. As soon as she said it's good work, I just thought of it's a good man, Savannah. All right, I'm gonna let her finish saying, but I don't know why that just popped in my head. It's good work. That neck is working overtime. She is gone. Like I'm telling you, she looks out of it, and I don't even know what she's talking about. Now, usually it's just word salad, but this I'm actually confused on whatever she's talking about. So, but I'm gonna let it play.
To be engaged in a collective fight for America's future. And it means so much to me and to Governor Walz that you knocked on doors, you called friends, you called in favors. You said, hey, I showed up at your softball game. Now I need you to show up at the campaign office. You put in the time. It was personal for you. And you gave all that you could to support our campaign. Because of your efforts, get this, we raised an historic $1.4 billion, almost $1.5 billion from grassroots supporters alone, the most in presidential campaign history. Nearly 8 million donors contributed an average donation of about $56 to fuel our people-powered campaign. And understand that the work that we did included the work that so many of you here did, which is to talk to first-time voters. Many of you are first-time voters. And to talk about how being involved can make a difference. And that remains true. And that's one of the pieces that I just want us to please take away, that our fight for freedom and for opportunity and for the promise of America, it included, for example, nearly almost 4 million first-time contributors to our campaign. because of the work you did of helping people know that they can be engaged and that they're not outside, that they're inside, that we're all in this together. And
that took me out. That they're not outside, they're inside. That they're not outside, we're all in this together. I said, what?
Girl, first of all,
Okay.
I'm not even going to say it was so word salad because I think I don't think she's saying this off the dome. I think it's a teleprompter. I think she's reading something.
She's trying to read it.
Yeah.
But those eyes are like extremely low. She's like,
I wasn't mad at it until she started with the lying. Why are you saying it was grassroots? You didn't raise 1.5 billion. That really bothered me. Look, and your chat is cutting up. Chat is funny. Chat.
I was over here dying. I'm over here dying, girl.
Look, first of all, like the Green Party is all grassroots. They don't take from PAC. They don't take. So with the Green, I don't agree with their policies, but I can respect them because they're not taking money from big donors, from big, from these PACs. Her campaign, and not only was her campaign not grassroots, Trump's campaign is not grassroots. Like I wouldn't say, and I'm a Trump supporter, so I wouldn't say that. Like you didn't have to go there. She didn't have to go there. And this message was entirely too long. And I'm not trying to be overly critical, but the little bit that I saw earlier last night, I immediately said, this woman is intoxicated. I'm not going to say she's like heavily drunk. I'm not going to say she's like, because if I was drunk, I wouldn't be able to read from a teleprompter. So I'm not.
Oh no. See, okay. So I can definitely function, even though like I'm tipsy, right? I can definitely function. That's why I don't know why when people say they blacked out, I don't understand it.
Yeah, tipsy and drunk is not the same to me. However, you shouldn't be tipsy if you are addressing the country. She should have just stayed on vacation. She didn't even have to do this. Like you went on vacation. I think she like craved. I don't even know if I have to say she craved attention. She didn't have to do this, and her team. I really blame the team because they shouldn't have released this video. I mean, what do you think? Maybe I'm tripping. Oh, they saying she's functional drunk. She could be a functional drunk. You could be right, Danker Luna. She could.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could be right. You could be
All right, I'm gonna play this last part.
This is an uncertain time. I'm clear-eyed about that.
Hold on.
I'm clear-eyed, and it burns strong.
That right there. Watch this when she blinks real quick.
Okay.
And I know this is an uncertain time. I'm clear-eyed about that. I know you're clear-eyed about it. And it feels heavy. And I just have to remind you, don't you ever let anybody take your power from you. You have the same power that you did before November 5th. And you have the same purpose that you did. And you have the same ability to engage and inspire. So don't ever let anybody or any circumstance take your power from you. Look, this mission that we have, it takes hard work. But as you've heard me say many times, we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work can be joyful work. And in doing our work, we will remain committed and intentional about building community, building coalitions, reminding people that we all have so much more in common than what separates us. We will be armed with the faith and the fuel that tells us what is possible and then drives us to achieve it. So let's continue to organize and mobilize and stay engaged. And I thank you all. I thank you all. We are all in this together. All right? We are all in this together. And on this practical eve of Thanksgiving,
she's still talking.
I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving with the ability and to find the ability at this moment.
Yeah.
She's still
okay. So right there is where she, like, when you're drinking, you kind of belch. That's what she just did.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Run it back a little bit. Run it
with
back.
the ability and to find the ability at this moment
You saw it?
to
Yeah,
wish
right here.
everyone
Right
a
here.
happy Thanksgiving with the ability and to find the ability at this moment.
Ma'am.
I saw it. I saw it.
I can't with none of
Okay,
that. So
I retract my
what's your thoughts on that?
I retract my statement, and I should have waited until it was over. I retract my statement. I agree with Chat. I agree with Danker Luna. She is drunk. She is a functioning drunk. That was wild. I'm really.
It was so wild.
The full thing. I'm really embarrassed. I'm really embarrassed for her. Like I'm at a loss for words. This was horrible. This was really hard. Am I tripping? Is this as horrible to you as it is to me? Because this is like really.
Oh no, it's definitely like it's okay. So two things. All right, my goofy side. You know, this is us talking. My goofy side is just, you know, it's funny. My
hilarious. It
my
is
political professional side is that you need to go. Okay, you don't need to be in anybody's cabinet, in anybody's, you know, governorship, in anybody's senate, nothing. Because this tells me, and I know a lot of, you know, she's probably not the only one. I know a lot of the politicians and everything are into, you know, drinking, drugs, whatever, right? But whatever they're doing, I don't see it. All right.
Right.
So
Exactly.
that's my problem.
Exactly. Like we will hear stuff later. We will hear, I'll give you an example. Tucker Carlson and Glenn Beck, they have come out and say they were alcoholics. Glenn Beck said he was a really bad alcoholic, but we never saw them drunk on TV. We never saw it. Somehow they was able to keep it together. This lady, like, all seriously, we didn't have to see this. Like they watched this and still released it. And I don't know if she saw it or not, but as a grown adult, why would you release that? Like I never would have
not Betty Ford Clinic.
I never would have.
I don't think she cares. Okay. There is a coalition behind this woman that is big enough to where people really want to see her. I don't know why. They did a poll, and I did this video a while back. They did a poll, and her supporters said they would support her running for governor and some other things. So, you know, she still has a future. However, I don't understand why people want to vote for this woman, but they do. So, you know, I wanted to get into that, right? But if that wasn't enough, okay, her staff goes on this podcast. The podcast is called Pod Save America, and they go on the podcast and they blame everybody else but Kamala, but them. All right. So they just, you know, they go on and on and on and on and on and on, you know, with, you know, trying to explain stuff. So I'm just going to play a little bit of that and then we'll talk about it. So I'm going to put that up here. But I thought it was so weird. I was just like, so nobody's going to talk about where the money goes? But here we go.
And we needed to ensure with Pennsylvania, which was our toughest of the blue walls from the beginning, where we were tied, what's the alternative to make up those electoral votes? So we ran a very wide map in other races that some of us have worked on together. We had to, you know, move off of states. That was not actually part of our plan. And then we had to reach very hard to find voters. So we were trying to, yes, spend more resources on digital, not for the sake of that, but because we're trying to find young people. We're trying to find these lower propensity voters that were tuned out to politics. So much of the electorate, pre-Vice President Harris and post, had opted out of political engagement, had opted out of wanting to talk through or hear the kind of partisan environment. So we had to work extremely hard to find them. And doing so made us make really key choices. Call her daddy was really an important choice to make. And the hurricane, which you're alluding to and why we had to make some adjustments on schedule, the hurricane impacted 2 weeks of our ability to reach people, not just in North Carolina and Georgia, but all across the country. I mean, we put her on the Weather Channel in part because that's where people are watching. So everything, of course, you can look at, did we get the best deal here? This was quite costly here. It's quite expensive. At the end of the day, though, I think if you look at the spend we had, the majority of the money we spent, it was to reach voters. The money we spent at the end, I mean, Trump was every single day for the last 2 weeks of the race, he was dumping millions of dollars on our head on more points. And we didn't go chase him everywhere, but we had to look at, what are people getting served? How do we match that? How are we hitting our voters and not getting distracted? How are we making sure the people that he's serving stuff to, we're getting to? And he had an army of super PACs that were so coordinated. I'm sure there's some legal way they were coordinated, but
I'm sure it was legal.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Or it's funny that she tried to throw that in there, right? She tried to say, oh, his super PACs were, coordinated. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No. They just knew where to spend their money.
Yeah.
And on top of that, if he got super PACs, which they all do, but
right.
Here's the thing. She raised more money. She not only had, those high donors, she had the donors that, gave at least about, on an average of $49. So you got one person sending you almost $100. You have a lot of money on hand. She went and spent that money on that Call Her Daddy podcast because she thought it spoke to her base. All right. Because what she was trying to do, because women, they vote more. Okay. On average, they vote more. So she thought by doing that, she would get more women, whether they were Republican or not. She would get more women and she would reach more women, especially white women. Because Call Her Daddy is, a white podcast. So she thought she would go on there and, it would work like that, but it didn't work like that.
Yes, I was actually surprised by the response that she got on the Call Her Daddy podcast. Because like you said, I thought, well, why are you're on this podcast? These are already people that's going to vote for you. But when I saw the comments and the reception,
right,
people, they were really frying her. That really surprised me. For me, I felt like when she did the All the Smoke podcast, that made sense to me. And I gave credit to her. I said, hey, she recognizes she's not doing well with Black men. So she's going to go on a Black male sports, podcast. That was a good look. It was terrible for the All the Smoke. They was frying them in the comments. But I said that was, that was a good move for her. But the Call Her Daddy podcast, and like you said, she spent a crazy amount of money, built the whole set. You didn't. I'm gonna let you finish, but because I got more thoughts on what they were saying.
No, go ahead.
Like, I feel like what's this podcast?
It's called Pod Save America.
Okay, I've seen this podcast in like Apple Podcasts. I've never listened to them. I'm glad I noticed, so now I'll never listen to them. Good, okay. So that I'm glad that's who it was. These people, and this is why they will continue to lose elections if they don't get it. James Carville, the Raging Cajun.
I know.
He was the only him, and it's another guy, Mark Halperin. Those are the only two Democrats that I saw that actually, and James Carville has crazy Trump derangement syndrome, but the dude,
yes, he does.
He made good points. He said where they went wrong at, this candidate backtrack too much. Like, this is not the 1980s where you could say something and nobody's going to be able to know and fact check. This woman says so much stuff, and we had the audio to see. We have the video to see it. This isn't like a comedian where you throw out a bad joke. It's a bad joke. It doesn't land. We can move on. This is a 2-opponent sport. So she threw out a bad joke or threw something out that a bad play. The other people, the opponent is able to take that play and manipulate the way they want to. And what did she do? It was so much footage that Trump used from her own campaign, from her own words, her own sit-down interviews to make ads. Like his his
They
campaign.
They didn't have to make up anything. That was the catalyst of it all. But I was just, between that video of her and I don't even care to play Tim Walz. I don't care. But that video of Kamala and the video of the her staffers, because that's a long podcast, but they just they didn't take responsibility. And I'm just starting to think that they would back her again, because they're not going to say that, one, it's Kamala, and then two, they're not going to admit their faults. They put it on pretty much everybody else. They put it on time constraints. They put it on everything except the campaign and Kamala. She was a weak candidate, and they don't want to say it. She was a very weak candidate. So moving on from the deranged people, I want to move to the Trump deranged people. Okay. And the Kamala supporters that got money. All right. So RFK, out speaking as he normally does. And he says something about Black males. All right. And once he said it, I knew that the Black media, Roland Martin, the Black media was going to come for him. Okay. Now, Roland Martin, I don't care for. I have interviewed him before. He's never been mean or anything like that. But as far as politically, I don't care for him. And the thing about it is, Roland Martin is not honest with Black people. Okay, he's one of those baiters to keep people on a Democratic plantation, to me. So I want you to see what Roland Martin said about RFK, because RFK, made a little speech. I don't want to give it away, so I will go ahead and play this now. Here we go. Give me a second. There we go.
I just roll it. So I don't think you can change that part of human nature. What you can do is you can make kids resilient against it. And the way you do that is by giving them a great education so that they know that they have potential. And the other thing is to give them business models, role models, and opportunities within their own neighborhood. Black men who are running barbershops, who are running bars, who are running dance studios, who are running local businesses, restaurants, etc., and who are part of that community. And when I was a kid, my uncle was the first Irish Catholic president of our country. And when he ran for president, there was a tremendous resurgence in anti-Catholic sentiment in this country, and a resurgence of the Ku Klux Klan. I remember crosses being burned when I was a kid against an anti-Catholic president. A lot of I was called a Mick, a mackerel snatcher, all these anti-Catholic slurs when I was a kid. And it never bothered me. If somebody called me that, I would think that guy's got a problem. But I didn't think I have a problem. And that because I had a great education, I had a family who loved me, I had role models in my country, I had confidence in my own future. Those kind of things had no impact on me. And that's the kind of resilience that we want to give the Black American children, so that they have so much confidence in their own future that when they do encounter inevitable racism, that it will bounce off them, that they'll be, like the Avengers, they'll be immune to it. And then we don't have to stop racism altogether, because we're never going to be able to do that. But we can have children that are not affected by it, that don't internalize it, that don't see it as their problem. They see it as the person whose racist problem.
All right. So I didn't understand what these Negroes' problems were. Okay.
I was waiting for the ball to drop. Like I was waiting.
You saw I let it come in so you can see their faces. I didn't understand what the problem was. So I'll just play just a little bit so you can hear how they sounded.
I'm gonna have to take a walk. I'm gonna have to.
Now Roland, no, he don't walk nowhere. He ought to stop. He don't walk not nowhere. Okay. So I want to get your thoughts on that. Did you think he said anything wrong? Did you think they were overreacting?
I agree with everything he said. And let me first say this. This is what Democrats do. They weaponize, they use Black people's Black trauma of historical racism because, that's what they do. They use that to play on our emotions, to keep us so blinded. And it drives me nuts because not all Black people, but a lot of Black people, specifically Democrats, they are focused on this racism stuff. What did he say? And they weren't listening. He said,
Nope.
we want Black kids to have a better education. Who is the party that supports school choice? The Republicans. It's not the Democrats. The Democrats want our kids in public schools to be indoctrinated. I say it all the time. I went to private school my whole life, kindergarten through 12th grade, and then I went to a private college. I went to Howard University. But nevertheless, my high school, we had a 100% graduation rate. We had a 98% that went on to college. Whereas my local county, Prince George's County, we have the worst, I want to say in the state of Maryland, we have the second worst school district. So
and the highest
dropout rates, like it's not a
But
game.
the taxes are so high, and you have property tax in Prince George's County for that very reason.
Right. And not only that, like you were saying, it's not a money thing. Prince George's County is known for being, when we was coming up, it was the richest Black county in the country.
Yeah, it's wealthy. It's a wealthy county.
Yes. So I'm saying
because it was all the Black professionals that worked in DC for the government.
Correct.
And they didn't live in DC, and they lived in the McMansions in PG County.
Yes, Fort Washington, Clinton. Yes, so I'm
Yes.
like, what he's saying is actually true. Why would anybody have a problem with a white man or any person for that matter speaking on wanting kids to have a better education? He spoke about, he didn't specifically say Black jobs. He said we have Black men that are entrepreneurs in their communities. They're owning barbershops, dance studios, restaurants, whatever. We want children to not have to focus on the racism because that's a distraction at the end of the day.
Right, and you're never going to eradicate it. That's what he said. You if you focus on that, you're not going to get rid of it.
Exactly.
Right? So you can try and maybe systematically, but on an individual basis or certain groups, it's not going to go away.
100%. So and this is the thing, you can't, and the Bible speaks on that too. You can't focus on changing the hearts of those people. You can only focus on yourself and bettering yourself, bettering your community. And that's what that man is talking about. And for anybody to have a problem with that, I think it's something wrong with him. And with Roland, I'm just like why? Like they tried so hard to find something wrong with what that man said. And if it was Obama that said it, if it was Gretchen Whitmer that said it, if it was any Democrat,
Big Gretch,
right? If it was any white, which by the way, it was a Democrat forever, but if it was because he supports Trump, they got a problem with it. But if it was any white politician that said it, they would be praising him because there was nothing. I was sitting here waiting for the racism to come, and it didn't hit. And I'm gonna say this too before we move on. My dad, and I'm not trying to get too. I'm very familiar with. I was raised Catholic. I remember when he's talking about his uncle running for president and being first Catholic president. The those racist triple K members, they don't like Catholics. That's like a thing. I
Yeah,
mean,
and that's what he was saying.
Yeah,
He wasn't saying it was the same. He was trying to show what affected him and what helped him.
Right. And this is what I'm getting at with him. Their family always had money. So he was in a position where it didn't have to affect him. He was able to move past it because his family was good. That's really what he's saying he wants for Black people. So I don't see the problem. But
yeah. I am Mr. H. Yes. I do remember that interview. He cooked him, and that's I actually know Randall. So yeah, he cooked him. And
who cooked who?
So Roland Martin had well, at the time, a young man on named King Randall, and he was about 21.
I remember that he built his own.
But that was years ago. Yeah, but yeah, he cooked them because he's also conservative, and he let him know, like, we don't need. I mean, you can vote, but we don't. That's not going to do anything right then and there. You got to go out and do for yourself.
I hated
you gotta get your community involved. And Roland Martin didn't like that. Let's just say he didn't like that this young man wasn't pushing everybody to go vote for Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Who we know is a racist. So, and I'm gonna look this up because it just came out that they did not want to do that CBS didn't want to air the Hunter Biden story. Like, they literally buried it. And on the text messages, they found that Hunter Biden and Joe Biden back and forth used the N-word a lot. I said, oh, go figure.
I'm not.
Go figure. I'm not surprised.
I'm not.
But black people and other people of color, Latinos, they all want to go to bat for Joe Biden, and I'm just like, why? The man has racist policies, but neither here nor there. I don't think RFK said anything incorrect, and I agree with him 100%. If you give people a focus on other things in their community, if you give people the opportunity. One thing I really love that James Brown said, he said a quote, he said, I don't need you to get me through the door. Just open the door and I'll walk through it myself. Right? So people, yes, they may need you to, systematically stop, blocking the doors, blocking, pathways, redlining, this and that. Right?
Right.
I understand that. But other than that, get up and get it yourself.
Right.
And Black people outside of slavery, literally right after slavery during Reconstruction, understood this.
Right. Right. And that's
so you could tell me illiterate people understood how to do this. And people that are highly educated don't understand this.
Yes.
Which tells me that they're lost. And I don't know, maybe because I just don't like Roland Martin. But nevertheless,
he financially benefits from Black people being on depending on the Democratic Party. It's as simple as
that. That he had did not add up to 350,000. He did a whole segment on what they spent the ads on. Please. He's like, we ran this ad. We ran this ad. We ran this ad.
Yeah.
Okay, what you do with the money? Because it's not going to your production.
I don't know. I don't know where this. It looks very money laundery to me. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. So nobody, come for me.
I'm telling you,
I don't
crazy.
I don't get it. Like, we talked about it.
I get it.
With the no, this is what I'm saying. I don't get it. I'm like, what did you do with the money? That's what I'm saying. But I think you kept the money, which is
he pocketed the money. That's that. Like, okay, he has more than enough, outreach to where that set, those mics, all of that. He's a millionaire. He can definitely, upgrade all that stuff. Why can we as YouTubers have a better set than Roland Martin? because Roland Martin's pocketing that money. He's not putting into like child. I mean, he sounds like sometimes he's in an echo hallway or something. And I'm just like, where's the money going?
I don't know what's.
And then he never has any interviews that are thought provoking. He never has any interviews that tell the truth. So at the end of the day, I'm just like, Roland Martin is just interested in keeping people, Black people preferably, on the Democratic, plantation. That way he can continue to get money to spend it on food, maybe, because it's not going to that set. I want to thank Tech Coach Ralph. And he said, keep up the amazing work. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So let's go here. All right. So there is a DEI conversation and everyone is talking about it. And I wanted to go through two things. I wanted to show you what someone in Congress had to say and then corporate. All right. So we'll get into that right now. Here we go.
This bill, titled the Dismantling DEI Act, is an utter disgrace. Having sat and read the text in preparation for today's markup, I have yet another example to tell my constituents about the unserious work of the Republican Party. Now, I'll work with anyone serious about progress who wants to center the people who call this country home. This isn't it. The Committee on Oversight has the broadest jurisdiction in the entire House of Representatives to investigate any topic it chooses, but we are debating legislation that denies the sky is blue, water is wet, and racism is real. The major provision of the bill says to ban anything that acknowledges racism. And a few pages later in the exact same bill, there are multiple provisions discussing the presence of racism. This Republican approach is as predictable as it is nonsensical. On one hand, they're saying that racism does not exist. On the other hand, they are saying there is rampant reverse racism. Well, how do you reverse something that never existed in the first place? Riddle me that. While this Republican policy may have a new name, it's the same old tired game. Look, y'all are entitled to your opinions, but not a denial of the facts. Do you all know your history? Do you know American history? The original Constitution counted enslaved individuals as 3/5 of a person. During World War II, the federal government forcibly relocated and incarcerated 110,000 Japanese Americans. The FHA practiced redlining in the 1930s and 60s to deny mortgages to Black Americans, which is why we have a racial wealth gap today. I could go on. The GI Bill, which is supposed to be race neutral, denied access to Black Americans, denying them equal access to education and housing benefits, which is why we do not have generational wealth. Don't talk to me about merit when those Black servicemen fought for our freedoms. And I'd also just like to take a personal note of privilege to say, please keep Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s name out of your mouths. Yes. Your perversion of his words and his mission when his children have asked you to stop invoking his name and perverting his work when he was a proud and unapologetic Black man fighting for equality for Black Americans and all marginalized people. So you all are entitled to your opinions, but not a denial of the facts. But I'm not surprised that you would deny American history. What I am, though, is committed. Committed to speaking truth to power, committed to standing up for marginalized communities and vulnerable people, committed to ensuring that everyone has equal opportunity to buy a house, to work a job, to pursue higher education, and to live in a society that is fair and just. A colleague across the aisle invoked the phrase of, we must do everything to stop government-sponsored oppression. Well, I've just enumerated numerous examples, which is exactly why we have legislation and an executive order to reverse this harm. And that is why I'm committed to opposing this bill and urge my colleagues to do the same.
Lord. Your thoughts, and then I'll give mine.
Okay, first of all, it's in Democrats' best interest to not go the history route. Because if we go the history route, redlining, well, who instituted that? The Democrats.
Democrats.
Yeah, the separating the black servicemen, the Democrats.
Democrats.
So you shouldn't go down that route. We shouldn't. If we want to take it there, we could take it back to, well, who was the party that formed the Republican Party? Well, it was abolitionists. It was Black Republican. So Ayanna, that's just a route I think Democrats should not go down, because then we can go down to how you came into existence, being the military arm of the Triple K. So the whole race thing, I think Democrats really need to keep quiet on that, because it's not exactly the party. I always say Triple K. I'm so used to talking on TikTok. The KKK. That's where you shouldn't go. Now, my thing, and I think, how racist is it to say you better keep Dr. King's name out of your mouth? Ayanna,
Oh, but did you hear when she said, I want to take a moment to invoke privilege? When your whole speech is against privilege.
That's where I was gonna go. Like, what bothers me with this whole race thing, to me, it's super racist, because you're saying as though Black people are dumb, or we need the government's help. We need something. We don't. There's nothing wrong with being Black. There's nothing wrong with being white. There's nothing wrong with it. So when you're saying, oh, well, we want to talk about the wealth gap again, well, when was the wealth gap? Are the only Black president, and I do this in quotes because y'all know I'm doing it in quotes. Well, the wealth gap, he didn't do anything. Obama didn't do anything to close that wealth gap. Again, Democrat. So let's cut the crap. Ayanna Pressley. Chat made a very good point. She'd be really, if she wasn't so hateful, she would be a really beautiful woman, but she's so hateful. You're saying I will keep his name out of your mouth. Well, what if his niece, Alveda King, said, well, why don't you keep my uncle's name out your mouth? Because if my uncle
Thank you. Thank you.
Trump, because
thank you. I keep telling people that the King family are a family of Republicans. The Democrats happen to be in office, so Dr. King was working with the Democrats, and JFK was a conservative Democrat, what people would now call a Reagan Democrat.
And let's take it a step further, because I love history. The only reason why Lyndon Baines Johnson gets credit for the 1964 Civil Rights Act, and if you want to keep it a buck, it was the Republicans that passed the 1957 Civil Rights Act. It was the Republicans that passed the 1960 Civil Rights Act. The 1964 Civil Rights Act, those Democrats didn't even want to vote for it. People don't know that they did. It was a whole voting block. It was known as the Southern Bloc. I want to say it was about 21 Democrats that would not vote for it, had the second longest filibuster on record. The only reason why the only reason why it came to pass, it was a social issue at the time, but that's how it came about. So if we want to go there, we could go there. Those Democrats, they didn't even want to sign the 1964 Civil Rights Act, but
they didn't want to do it, and they didn't do it before. They only did it afterwards.
That's why I said
so I caution people when they say that they are Democrats. I want to take a quick moment and thank Anton Daniels. Thank you very much, my homie, my friend. Okay, and you guys can find me on Anton's channel as well on After Hours. It's great. It's awesome. I'm on there. I'm on there usually, I would say Thursdays and Fridays, but I kind of sneak on there some other days. So you guys, I don't know why this is getting through, but you guys definitely go and watch Anton and support Anton's channel. Okay. So go ahead with what you were saying. I just wanted to give Anton a shine. Go ahead with what you were saying. I'm sorry.
No, that was it. I'm just saying her rhetoric is super racist. I felt like, as a Black person, I felt offended, because how dare you say like I need this, we need this, what I reject that. Well, obviously I reject it because I'm conservative, but I don't like that. And I think it's racist. I think it's racist towards Black people. And I just think, how dare you say because he's white, he can't bring up Martin Luther King, and Martin Luther King would be rolling over in his grave hearing what you had to say, but that's my opinion on it. I really don't like these Black Democrats. Like because they hurt. I just feel like they hurt our community the most. That's why I get so worked up about them. But that's it.
No, you're good. You're good. I can't stand them. Now here is the second part. Okay. The second part of this DEI conversation, all right, is Walmart. All right. Walmart has caused a stir because people love the cheap stuff. Walmart is deciding to get rid of DEI. All right. And if anybody, just side note, if anybody can tell me how to, do the do not disturb, because I thought I did it and I guess I didn't do it right. I don't know these Apple products, but here we are. We're going to go into Walmart and what they had to say about DEI. All right. And I thought it was hilarious. I'm not even going to front. Here we go.
Tonight, Walmart joining a growing list of companies rolling back diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives amid growing pressure from conservative activists.
I am very proud to report to you guys that Walmart has decided on making some changes.
The largest retailer in the world confirming it will curb racial equity training for employees, no longer consider suppliers' race or gender to boost diversity, stop selling LGBTQ-themed items online that are marketed to children, including chest binders for youth going through a gender change, and end funding for its Racial Equity Center, a 5-year philanthropic effort launched after the police killing of George Floyd in 2020. Which sparked nationwide protests and a racial justice reckoning. Walmart, which employs roughly 1.6 million workers in the U.S., also ended its participation in the Human Rights Campaign's Corporate Equality Index, following the same move by Ford, Harley-Davidson, Lowe's, and Molson Coors.
We will not stop until we have eliminated wokeness in corporate America.
The public push for change at Walmart spearheaded by Robbie Starbuck, a former music video director turned conservative activist who leads what he calls an effort to eliminate wokeness.
I think this is a tremendous victory. Many have tried to get companies at this scale to change corporate policy, and it's ultimately a very, very difficult effort.
What do you think the implications of this are?
Big picture is actually very simple for me. I believe that companies need to sort of change the way that they operate around these issues to adopt a neutral approach where nobody with a specific set of political beliefs feels that the other side's political beliefs are being forced on them.
A spokesperson for Walmart confirms the company had conversations with Starbucks over the last week, but already had DEI-related changes underway. Walmart writing in a statement, "We've been on a journey and no, we aren't perfect, but every decision comes from a place of wanting to foster a sense of belonging." Starbucks, who has more than 1 million followers on social media, has called on consumers to boycott several companies over their, quote, woke policies.
I got some Bud Lights for us.
A similar boycott of Bud Light last year after the company featured transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney in marketing tanked sales of the beer, with Anheuser-Busch reporting a 10.5% revenue decline in the months that followed.
Conservatives have organized in ways that progressive and liberals, frankly, just have not. They have organized in ways to attack DEI and to spread misinformation and disinformation about what DEI is and aims to do.
Sean Harper, a professor of business who has worked with hundreds of companies, says DEI initiatives are meant to be inclusive, not divisive. He says,
okay, so what's your thought on that?
Okay.
Because I have mine.
So this is my thing. I think when it comes to businesses, these businesses are in the business of making money. That's the point. Right. So if they're getting rid of DEI, I think it's because it's not serving them. They're not making money from it. So I can't be mad at it. That's how I feel. Now, what I noticed, and this goes back, I don't know what it is with the Democrats. Why they have a beef with Walmart. Like, I'm reading a book now, but I'm not even getting into that. Walmart like serves the Black community. We go there, we get our stuff for cheap. When you go and they have the greeters, they're hiring special needs people. Every time I turn around and I see a greeter, you see it's somebody with special needs. So I'm like, I don't I don't get it. But yeah, overall, the woke weird stuff that I've seen with the DEI, I've never seen it like benefit. And I'm looking forward, y'all. I'm on the internet. Like I try to be on both sides, but I've only seen the weird stuff with the DEI where you had Delta, the DEI executive of Delta saying, oh, we're not going to say ladies and gentlemen. You know, in the beginning of the flight, they say ladies and gentlemen. Well, they're removing that language to be more inclusive, where I'm like, well, everybody is a man.
I think most people are rolling that back now. Okay.
Yeah.
And one, because, you know, of Trump's win, but I had started seeing a trend on everything, right? And that's from everything from social media and how people act on social media all the way to companies. All right. So I'm seeing the, you know, the change, and even if you want to go to, you know, the urban and pop areas, right? I'm seeing the girls, they're a lot more covered up. Some of them are even changing totally. They're, you know, no more, you know, promoting the BBL. They're now wanting to slim down and be on Ozempic. You know, so you're seeing a shift overall into conservatism, right? And so it's only natural that these companies would also go that way because they're in the business, like you said, of making money. And if the country is red, are you going to continue to push blue?
Yeah.
Because you're going to lose out on money. You saw what happened with Jaguar. Yep. Somebody just said it too. So you saw what happened with Jaguar, right? And it's like, who's your demographic? That happened with Gillette.
Ford.
Like, who's your demographic?
Remember Ford? Remember the big gay raptor? I don't know if you saw that.
No.
Ford, look, y'all, look this up because this was bananas. Ford, we know whose Ford base is. Ford came out, they have a really best-selling truck, the Raptor. They came out with a gay Raptor. Google it, y'all. I'm not making this up. And they
a sassy Raptor.
Yeah, they painted the Raptor like.
See, and this is why these companies get into the things that they get into. I'll just say this. I think it's absurd, and I think they should take away DEI. Okay, as a person of color, I do not feel discriminated against. Again, I think there are some systematic things, but they're not working on those. They're literally coming down to the lowest level and, you know, picking with little things. And when you can really, you know, exact some change and give everyone the, you know, the opportunity. The thing about DEI, it forces an outcome. And that is the problem. Everybody should have opportunity. And I think that's what you can systematically work on.
And
everybody should have the opportunity. I should have the opportunity, if I qualify for that job, to get that job.
Right.
And
there's nothing wrong with having diversity. I'm all for diversity.
No, it's not. It's nothing wrong with diversity.
Stuff should just be based on merit and.
But I don't want the woman there just because she's a woman. Because if she's stupid.
Right. I agree.
You know. And the counter argument is, well, there are plenty of male bosses that are stupid. Okay, well, he's dumb, and then we're going to get him out.
And they shouldn't have.
Right. But nobody puts a man in because he's a man. They may like him. They may like him and have favoritism. Like there are things that go, you know, to someone because of who they know, you know, nepotism, all that good stuff. But it's just that women seem to want to have, you know, control over an outcome. Like you not only want the opportunity to work, now you want the outcome to be what you want it to be. And I think that is the problem with DEI. Because if it was just about, you know, fairness and equality, you guys would be fine with what you have now, you know, and they want to talk about the gender gap in pay, but it's no gap because frankly, men work jobs that women are not going to work. And thus there is your gender gap in pay. And they don't talk about it because it doesn't fit their narrative, right? I can tell you right now, I'm not digging in a hole. I'm not going in the sewer. I'm not working on the oil rig. I'm not doing any of that. Right now, you can't hear it, but I got a heater right here on the floor because you know why? I don't even like the cold in my house. So I'm not doing these things. And I'm appreciative to the men that go out and do these things because dang it, I don't want to do it. I don't want to be in those positions. And I'm grateful that there are men that are willing to go and do these things because the way the women are now, I'm surprised that they just don't go and be like, F it, y'all do it.
I've cut my grass. It's overrated. Okay. Like some
Oh,
stuff
man.
I don't want to do.
And don't cut it in the summertime. You have a heat stroke.
Girl, I was a new homeowner, single. I cut the grass. I said, oh, I'm not doing this no more. No, some stuff, like I said, I will have a female nanny. I will have a male bodyguard. I don't care, call it whatever. I'm not with.
Yeah.
I'm not DEI, that kind of stuff. I'm not doing.
I'm definitely not DEI, so I'm not with it. It is what it is. All right, so I want to move into a little pop in politics. Okay, so let's move to Charlemagne. So Charlemagne was on his podcast with, I think it's Andrew. I think that's his name, Andrew Schultz.
Oh, Andrew Schultz.
And he was discussing, I think, Joe Biden and the Ukraine war. So I want to get into that topic because it was hilarious. Andrew is going against the producer. Okay, the producers of the show, they are liberal. You can hear them talk in the back all the time. It's hilarious.
Oh, okay.
But they seem like they're nice guys or whatever, but you can definitely tell that they're liberal. So I want to get into that and then we'll talk about it. Here we go.
Biden leaving the country with a little war before he walk out.
You saw that? Why would he try to do this? Why would he give long-range missiles to Ukraine right before he leaves?
And Putin said he ready for nuclear war.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. But Chris, you don't got
You think
nothing
he would
to say
nuke
about
Trump's
that.
America?
Yo, why don't you talk about your Dems trying to blow up the whole world and trying to start a nuclear holocaust? Why don't you talk about that ever? You don't. Oh, my 76ers are 2-9. Oh, you know who else is 2-9? Ukraine.
Well, they're about to be 2-80 at the end.
Chris, that's not Chris. We can't joke around about these things on Brilliant Idiots.
Well,
Political pundit
he's got
podcast.
a point. Why did Biden do that, though? Why did Biden agree to supply Ukraine with anti-personnel?
So they could fuck over the goat.
Mines. No, that's new. Shit.
That's
this is new. The last one was the missiles. Now it says supply Ukraine with anti-personnel mines. Like, why do that now, Chris? Why do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I'm a little bit hypocritical on this issue, if I'm being honest, because I don't see the value of going all in on Ukraine. But obviously, if the great state of Taiwan was invaded next, which I think is the next domino, I'd be up in arms and want us to support them. So,
and how will we support them? What will we do?
I mean, as much as I'd want to see it, I can barely make the argument for that because it means taking on China directly. Is that in our best interest?
Yeah.
You know what I will say, though, that I appreciate? I appreciate people like Chris because they humanize these places. And the reason I wouldn't even think of Taiwan. Like, you know, you hear it on the news, but you don't think about it. Like, you don't think, like, yo, there's actual people there.
My wife
like,
is there right now.
Exactly. Yeah. You know? So it's just like, oh, shit.
You don't think Russia escalated first by bringing in North Koreans to fight?
It's a good point. Because they're dangerous.
I mean, it's like, it's a slow start to a world war when you're bringing in another country to help fight boots on the ground.
Well, I've said this a lot of times.
That's a good point.
I'll say it again now. And even though somebody will take this and take it out of context and say, oh, see, Charlemagne's MAGA now. I don't think there'll be any wars of that magnitude with Trump in office because of the fact. No, but listen,
Can we just fist bump on that? Can we get
well, let
anti-war
me
fist
explain
bump?
why. Anti-war definitely need that. See what I'm saying?
We can't
because of the fact that he has relationships with Putin.
Exactly.
Because of the fact that he's willing to have relationships with the president of China.
Well, relationship is one way to put it. Sure. I mean,
whatever it is, if it keeps us from having to,
if he got a tinkle on Svetlana for us to not enter World War III, then it's worth.
That's right. If it keeps China out of Taiwan, Chris,
every Russian
if
whore
it
that
keeps
gets
Russia
pissed
out of
on that
Ukraine,
stops us from having World War III.
Well, it's not going to keep Russia out of
Ukraine
Ukraine.
will have to give up a little bit.
They're going to have to give up a little bit.
It's a wrap.
Not the whole thing.
Not the whole thing.
Not the whole thing. He'll let Russia put the tip in.
They're going to have to give up Donbass.
He'll let Russia put the tip in. They stupid. They are so dumb. So I definitely like, the humor in the conversation, but I like that he was asking the question why liberals aren't talking about this more.
Yeah.
Like they're not talking about this. They're real hush and mum on it. Like really hush. And it's almost deafening because why would it's like Andrew said, why would he do that on the way out? Even Charlemagne said, yeah, why would Joe Biden do this on the way out? And then Andrew says, yeah, because he wants to sabotage the GOAT. Yeah. I agree 100%.
Yeah, yeah.
He already sabotaged Kamala. Okay. Mm-hmm. He already got her up out of there. She's down there looking drunk. And now, okay, I got her. Now I'm gonna get Trump.
Right. Look, okay, this is my thoughts on it. I think, and again, this is just me talking to my friends here online, because I've been getting in trouble on TikTok, so I watch what I say. But anyway, this is what I'm saying. Why would he do that on his way out? Well, the reason why he would do it on his way out, because he knows more than likely Trump will not have us in a war. And we know this because when Trump was in office, what happened? We weren't in any wars the first time in 88 years. So that's these people, and when I say these people, these neocons, it's money to be made. They want to allegedly launder their money. They want to have, because this is the thing. Ukraine is not going to beat Russia. They're not. What has happened now, has Russia gotten somewhat weakened? I do think Russia has gotten somewhat weakened with this ongoing war, which again, America wants to sell these. It's all a money thing. They want to keep us in war. They want to feed the military industrial complex, and they know
that's what it is.
That's what it is. And if Trump gets in office, that's not going to happen. So they said, oh, this guy is on his way out. They probably said, oh, we're going to release this on your son or whatever, whatever the case may be, Biden. And I'm not trying to, let me be very clear. I'm no fan of Biden, but do I think that 87-year-old man that was on Delaware really sat up and said, let's start a war? Let's
No. Biden was over there trying to make sure, he can stay afloat above sand.
Right.
I do not think Joe Biden is running anything. We know Kamala ain't running nothing. So at the end of the day, that's exactly what it is. It is, they thought they were going to have, Joe Biden and everybody on the Democratic side that can keep, funding these wars, and people were going to continue to make money and yada, 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 because, Kamala would have definitely had us in not only wars, but, all types of deals where these other countries are getting rich, and all types of military industrial complex financiers, like the Pentagon doesn't know where money is. I just think there's just no oversight, and there's no oversight of the government, and they wanted that to continue. Right, these big government contracts, that everyone was going to get. So, and that's why they're so annoyed with this this Doge thing.
And those labs, we talked about it before.
Yes.
Something's going on. Those biochemical labs that we are fighting over in Ukraine. They don't want to let go of those labs. They want to. They want to protect those labs. Those labs need to be shut down because they're in a war zone. Obviously,
you guys are totally right. Yes, which is the reason why it made no sense to put, what's her name, Liz Cheney. It made no sense to put Liz Cheney up there because everyone knows that her dad and her are warmongers.
Yes. That was
So once she put Liz Cheney up there, everybody knew what time it was. Okay.
Mhm.
I guess she thought that everybody was low propensity voters that we don't know. I love that little cute name for stupid voters. I said, "A what? A low propensity." Oh, you're trying to say we're dumb. Okay. All right. So another thing I saw was I want to say this is Conor. Yes, this is Conor McGregor. So Conor McGregor got into trouble back in 2018. And in 2018, he decided that he was going to, I guess, cheat on his wife. It's his business. I don't really care. However, the girl said, she was AR'd and decided to press criminal charges. They didn't have anything, and so she decided to go civilly, and she just won. So I wanted to play a little bit of that because to me, it fits into the whole narrative of the Me Too movement. Okay. And then, and what, what's going on with Diddy. So I think that's another reason why it became, very popular. So we're going to get into that and talk about that for a second. Here we go.
Has won her High Court case against mixed martial arts fighter Conor McGregor. A jury at the High Court found Mr. McGregor raped Ms. Hand in a hotel in Dublin in December 2018 and awarded her almost €250,000 in damages. The jury found that his friend James Lawrence did not assault her. 35-year-old Nikita Hand had sued Mr. McGregor and Mr. Lawrence for damages, claiming they raped her in the Beacon Hotel in Sandyford in December 2018.
I would like to start off by saying I'm overwhelmed. I'm touched by the support I have received from everybody. First, I want to thank the Coleman legal team and my 3 barristers, John Gordon, Ray Boland and Sean. They have been amazing from start to finish. I want to thank Mr. Justice Alexander Owens, the jury, all the witnesses. I want to thank the doctors, nurses and everyone at the sexual assault treatment unit and the Rotunda Hospital for looking after me, especially my own Dr. Frank Clark. I want to thank the Rape Crisis Centre, especially Cleena, who has been by my side throughout this entire period. I want to thank all the guards and the ambulance crew. I want to thank all the women and men out there who have supported me throughout this trial. For every person who reached out to me, a card, a letter, email, everything, it hasn't gone unnoticed. Thank you. I really appreciate it so much. I want to thank my partner, Gary, who has been so supportive for the last 4 years and has held my hand throughout this trial every day and every other day. I want to thank my mum and all my family and friends. Lastly, I want to thank my daughter, Freya, who I'm most grateful for. She has given me so much strength and courage over the last 6 years throughout this nightmare to keep on pushing forward for justice. I want to show Freya and every other girl and boy that you can stand up for yourself if something happens to you, no matter who the person is, and justice will be served. To all the victims of sexual assault, I hope my story is a reminder that no matter how afraid you might be, speak up, you have a voice, and keep on fighting for justice. I know this has impacted not only my life, my daughters, my family and friends tremendously, and it's something that I'll never forget for the rest of my life. But now that justice has been served, I can now try and move on and look forward to the future with my family and friends and daughter.
Conor McGregor was accompanied to court today for the first time by his fiancée, Dee Devlin. His mother, Margaret, father, Tony, and other family members also came to support him during the final stages of the action taken against him by Nikita Hand. The judge told the jury at the end of more than 2 weeks of evidence that one side or the other was lying. Nikita Hand told the court she met Conor McGregor on the morning of December the 9th, 2018, after being out all night drinking and taking cocaine at her Christmas party. She said she and her colleague, Danielle Keeley, thought they were going on to a party with Mr. McGregor in the penthouse of the Beacon Hotel in South Dublin. Instead, she told the court, he put her in a chokehold 3 times, then brutally raped and battered her after coming on to her and refusing to take no for an answer. Ms. Hand was left with bruising described by a paramedic as the worst she'd seen in a long time. She had to have a tampon removed in hospital by forceps as it was pushed so far into her. She suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder and had to give up work as a hairdresser. But Conor McGregor told the court that Ms. Hand was full of lies. He said they had consensual sex twice and there was no distress from her. He said he did not choke her, there was no tampon, and the bruising on her body did not come from him. James Lawrence said he had consensual sex with Ms. Hand twice after Mr. McGregor and Ms. Keeley left. Ms. Hand said she had no memory of this. Her lawyers said the 2 men were in cahoots to try to confuse the narrative. Both men.
So, okay, woo, that was a lot. What do you think about all of this? And then I'm going to give my take.
Okay, so my opinion of the matter is that I don't believe she was raped. And I'm going to tell you why I don't believe she was raped. Number one, she messaged Conor McGregor. She DM'd him. So she slid in his DMs. She was flirting with him. I don't think she was so intoxicated or so high on drugs or whatever that she did not know what was going on. Because I do believe if a woman is intoxicated and they cannot consent, that is rape. I am of that opinion. I do not think that was the case for this woman because she had no problem texting her boyfriend and lying to him, saying where she was at during this whole encounter. So that's Thirdly, if you were raped, I don't think you would voluntarily have sex with the guy that raped you's friend afterward, because that is what happened. She engaged with relations with Conor McGregor, and then had relations with the friend, and the friend came out and said it. So I've never been raped, praise the Lord, but I just don't think a person that was raped would have sex with the guy that raped them friend right after. Call me crazy, I don't know. But that's my thinking of the matter. I think it was financially motivated. And now, do I have a lot of sympathy for Conor McGregor? No, I don't. I think he need to lay off on the sauce. And I think he should have been faithful to his wife or his fiance. Yeah. And if he had he been, he wouldn't be in this predicament that he is now.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion on it.
Good point. A lot of the men, they call it de-discipline. All right. Mm-hmm. When you are up that high, you know that these girls are after your money, are after you. If they can't get you, then they're gonna get the money. All right. Mm-hmm. But here's my issue with the whole case, right? The police didn't charge him criminally because they did not find any evidence to charge him criminally. Mm-hmm. All right. And when you tell me that you did cocaine, and this is on record, this is her. You did cocaine, mm-hmm. You were partying, so you were drunk on top of that. From what I know of people that do, drugs, some of those drugs, get you pretty, aroused. Mm-hmm. And so it seems like to me, she was partying, she was drunk, and she was like, this Conor McGregor, I'm going.
Yeah, I think that was the intention from the get-go. And I don't think, because sometimes I don't think she passed out. I think she was fully coherent.
No, she didn't pass out. And me personally,
especially if you're on cocaine. Who passes out with cocaine? Come on.
I think that woman knew what was going on. Mm-hmm. Okay. She knew what was going on. And at the end of the day, she has a husband, partner, whatever, I believe. So you know how that goes. He finds out and all of this stuff. It's just crazy. And I do think Conor McGregor is wild. All right. Mm-hmm. I do think he does a lot of things that put him in these positions. Mm-hmm. So he's not without blame, right? Mm-hmm. Because you're responsible for yourself. But mm-hmm. I do not, and it's just from listening to the facts. All right. It's not from, I don't believe a woman if she says no. Just from listening to the facts, it doesn't sound right to me. it sounds like she was ready to go, and then she changed her mind. And she changed her mind afterwards, not during or before.
Exactly.
I think she felt shame about it and decided to press charges. But what happened and what transpired, the police did not feel that it warranted anything criminally to be charged. But I don't think she wanted anything criminal. I think a lot of people do that just so they can go civilly. And she went civilly because there is a lower burden of proof when you go civilly.
Absolutely.
So if I can just prove more than likely that this was possible, I'm probably going to win.
Yeah.
So, I just wish that, a lot of men would stop putting themselves in these positions.
That's where I'm at with it. Like Conor McGregor, I don't know,
including her husband.
but he has a lot. Whose husband?
Including her husband. Her husband is standing. Maybe he wants some of that $700K. Maybe he wants some of that. That's why he's there. But that's embarrassing.
She was texting the boyfriend. I don't know if it's the same guy, but she had a boyfriend at the time, and she was texting the boyfriend when this was going on. Like, I can't imagine being the same guy. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's too much for me. I just thought it's a whole mess. Conor McGregor just needs to focus on what he's doing. I don't care what he wants to do with his personal life. If his girlfriend, wife, fiance is okay with it, that's fine. But maybe he needs to call LeBron James and figure out
what he got going.
What NDAs he got. Oh, okay. So really quick, last but not least, I just wanted to get into this really quick. I saw this online really quick, and I just wanted to end with this because I thought it was funny, but it also poses a point that the wokeness must stop. And the wokeness is tearing not only the liberal white communities apart, but it's tearing Black communities apart. So I want to get into this, and then we'll wrap up. Here we go.
Everything to be, and it is my favorite fear to not be. And this is just for me personally. This is all personal to me. But I just wanted to say it out loud because honestly, it's all I think about. It's all I think about.
And if you guys can't see the words on the screen, this is on TikTok. But if you guys can't see the words on the screen, she's saying that her favorite thing to be is skinny. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And it caused the fat phobia people. What are they? Justice warriors. What do they call them? What do they call those people?
Obese.
No. I forget what they call those people. Body positivity. There we go. Body positivity people. Those people. They were upset that she said her favorite thing to be was skinny. So here's this.
Call me a hater, but Slim Kim's video about how she's so happy she's skinny did bother me. And I think it is weird. I also find it so interesting that she felt comfortable making this video after the election, because there is a correlation. What we're going to start to see is so many people clinging on to whatever perception of privilege that they have as a means of social advancement. But back to Slim Kim. She knows what she was trying to say. You know what she was trying to say. We all understand what she was trying to say. And I at least wish that y'all would be comfortable and stand on it and stop trying to make it seem like we're just taking it the wrong way. Because the reality is, she's only happy to be skinny and, thinks about being skinny all day is because she believes that there's some perception, some privilege that's attached to her skinniness. And whenever someone tries to use privilege as an example, with me at least, the question that I always ask is, where in your life can you show me the benefit of this privilege? What have you accomplished as a result of this privilege? Like, Anyways, that's just how I feel. If you are happy that you're skinny and you feel, and that's all that you think about, and you get to have a better existence on earth with your skinniness, then I guess go for it. Enjoy.
Y'all are pissing me off so bad with this fatphobia shit. And this is coming from somebody who just posted their before and after, and I just lost a ton of weight. This is the smallest I've been in my life. But bitch, the narrative that being big is the worst thing in the world, please let it die. A lot of people say this and they don't mean it, but bitch, I mean it. I loved being big and bodacious. Bitch, I never wanted to be too skinny. And I'm sorry if I can't say that, but the comments, bitch, I'm gonna say what the fuck I want to say. I never wanted to be too skinny. I seen a comment that was like, being skinny, you can just wear what you want, then it looks so unique and creepy. I like a bitch who fill her clothes out. Bitties jumping, bitch thighs clapping. Yeah. When she walk, like, what are y'all talking about? I was raised by big, bodacious, bad bitches, and it never stopped a motherfucking thing. And that's not me saying in this society it doesn't stop shit. Yes, it stops shit. But to act like it's the worst thing in the world, please. Please.
As somebody who grew up fat and then got skinny and now I'm just mid-sized, I definitely understand the power of being skinny. Like, I can see how somebody would never, ever want to be fat again, right? But one thing I've learned from being skinny and being mid-sized again is that when you really got a lethal face card, you don't need to be skinny. Skinny is for average looking hoes, right? If you just got a regular mug, then yeah, you need to be skinny. When you average looking, being skinny your only trump card, right? But when you got a killer mug, right? When that face card knock folks out, no matter what you got on, you don't need to be skinny. If you go into a store with nothing on, looking beat up bum, and people still staring at your face, like people are still mesmerized when you walk by, you don't need to be skinny. Being thin is just a single part of the beauty standard. But when you are truly beautiful, being skinny is just a plus, you know? Just like, oh, people are like, oh, she got a nice body, but that face though? People wage wars over faces like that. You know what I mean? Truly beautiful people do not need to be real thin. They don't. They just don't. I'm not saying they could just be big as fuck, but they definitely don't have to be worried about being skinny. It can definitely be mid to slightly thicker. They can. The face card.
What's your thoughts? Like, this took me out.
These women are delusional. Okay, so I'm going to work backwards. First of all, this woman is a complete liar. What do people always say? What do they always say? Oh, she's pretty for a fat girl. What's the main part? The fat girl. So it's still the fatness canceled out the pretty face. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I'm not going to say being fat is the worst thing in the world, but it's top 5 because your health. What happens? If you're 600 pounds, you could be on your way out of here. And the goal in life is to not die. Health should be everybody's priority. So if you are promoting fatness, obesity, whatever, that's not what it is. And y'all can see me. I'm not a really skinny person. I think I'm a normal sized person. Should I probably lose some weight? Absolutely. But I am not morbidly obese because I know that's not what's up. That's like that like, what planet are these people living on? And again, why is that woman, she like Slim Kim. Slim Kim likes being skinny. She loves it. Good for her. The fact that a person you don't even know talking about being skinny triggered you so much, the other women, it's something wrong with you. I'm not triggered by fat people. I really wish they should lose weight because I'm like, I know that's not good for you, particularly if they have kids and the like, but I don't really care that much. You know, I genuinely don't. But for her, for the second lady coming on talking wild like that, I'm like, ma'am, you need to not worry about Slim Kim, and maybe you get on that Peloton. Maybe you get on that elliptical, worry about yourself. And then the second woman, she's saying, oh, I love being overweight. Well, then why'd you lose weight then? Why did you lose weight then? Knock it off. Like, I hate these people are liars. They're liars.
Okay, so here's my thing. No one cares about what, someone wants to say when they're fat. Okay. Everybody was on the train of body positivity, and everyone, y'all are funny, trigger.
I was triggered.
Everyone
Fat girl.
Everyone was on that train, right? You go, girl, being out there and being big and having all of this, right? Everybody was fine with it. Here's my problem. Isn't body positivity for your body? So now that this girl is slim and she likes being slim, what's the problem?
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that we have woke people
Mm-hmm.
who only want to celebrate the opposite because the normal they can't be or won't be. All right. They don't want a set of standards, right? And they don't want to have to adhere to things that are going to have to make you work. To stay slim, it's going to be work, especially if you're a woman. All right. To stay slim is going to be work. I get up extra early so I can work out. It's work.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
I want to stay in the bed, but a lot of the times I cannot. So at the end of the day, people just have to deal with certain things. And you know what? If we all focused on that, if you want to be fat, go ahead and be fat. But if you want to be slim, you know the work it takes to be slim, and you know what you're going to have to put into it. And of course, if you do all of that work, you're going to want to show your body off. And I don't understand why people get so upset and invested in people that want to, invest in themselves, not just for the look of it, but wants to invest in themselves for their health, for their well-being. Some of them have children they want to be around. Some of them are a little older, and they just want to remain healthy overall. I don't know why being healthy is a big thing. That is a thing with RFK. That is a thing in this country. I don't know why it's a problem. I just really don't know. So I'll say this on it. I think the wokeness is dying. As I said earlier, I think conservatism is starting to come through. It's going to be a wave. And I think especially in the minority communities, of Latinos and Black people, thickness is okay, right? It's a little more acceptable. But I think they've gone outrageously off the edge with who's thick, okay?
Yeah.
They'll say somebody's thick when
they're fat. They're fat. And I wanted to, and chat said it too. And this is the other thing. A lot of these body positivity influencers, a lot of them died. They died from being fat.
Oh, that white lady, the big one. Remember her?
It was a few because Blair White did a whole compilation showing because Blair White's a transgender conservative.
Yeah, she has a lot of people that watch her though.
Yes, and she did a whole compilation of all these body positivity influencers, and she was like, that person's dead. That they died. Like quite a few of them died. So I'm like, this whole body positivity, this is a trend that needs to end because these mamas are dying. Like, no, there's nothing good about that. Like,
no, I am not 5'1". I am 4'10".
For real?
Yeah, I'm 4'10".
I'm 5'1".
130 pounds.
I'm 5'1".
I'm supposed to be, according to BMI, 125. So I'm 5 pounds overweight.
I could have swore you were taller than me. Because everyone's
no, I'm 4'10". I'm short.
I'm the tall one. This is what's up.
I'm short, but it is what it is. But I'm glad to be in a conservative space with conservative people that watch me. Yes, I'm very tiny, shorty gang. Yes, Molly. She is so funny. All right, you guys. So I enjoyed talking to you about these crazy topics and these crazy people because these people are just nuts. And I think there is a small group of us. I'm starting to see it a little more, but there's a small group of us, of conservative women and especially conservative women of color. And I think it's great that we can come together and actually, express how we should really, operate in these communities and how we should really, talk about things and how we should get off the Democratic plantation.
Yeah.
Because Kamala ain't it. So thank you guys for watching. What did you say, Kelly? I'm sorry.
I said so we're an exclusive club.
Man, look. That's a whole nother topic. But yes, thank you guys for watching. It is the day before Thanksgiving, so I hope you guys are going to get some good food. If you're on, a diet like I am always on, tomorrow is going to be a great day. I'm cheating the whole entire day.
That's what's up.
I'm not fasting. I'm not doing nothing. I'm not working out. I'm just going to eat, sleep, wake back up again, and eat.
Yeah.
Because I know it's not going to happen no other time this year. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you. Thank you all for your super chats. Thank you all for commenting. I appreciate it. And we will catch you on the next one. It's your girl, Mika.
Bye.
And I'm out. Peace. If I can go out. Peace.